Hi, I'm Stephen Majors with the Alliance for Regenerative Medicine. I'm here right now with Audrey Greenberg, who is the founder and chief business officer of the Center for Breakthrough Medicines. Audrey, it's a pleasure having you on ARM Studios. And first, congratulations on your election to the ARM Board of Directors.
Thank you so much. I'm really pleased to have been selected to be a board member.
Wonderful, thank you. So Audrey, can you tell us about the founding story for CBM and what role it plays in the cell and gene therapy ecosystem?
Yeah, we started CBM back in 2019, 2020, really to address the severe market-wide capacity constraints that existed in cell and gene therapy manufacturing. And what we realized along the way is it's clearly about the expertise that's the most important. So while there may be capacity out there, it's do you have the people that can actually do the manufacturing? Do you have the consumables when you need them? Do you have the supply chain that's there? And so while we created the company really to address that capacity constraint, we realized along the way that it's not just about capacity, it's about capability and flexibility in today's environment where everyone's capital constrained. Being able to provide flexible contracting terms, milestone-based payment arrangements are huge. And I think our role in the ecosystem is really to be a partner to our clients, to be patient first, customer centric, and have built-in global redundancy of supply chain with our partnership now with Ipuscasi and SK Farmteco. So we're really pleased to bring this offering to the ecosystem, and that end-to-end partnership is priceless in today's environment.
Great. And so we've heard a lot about manufacturing capacity, particularly with the acceleration of approvals we've seen recently. How would you describe capacity right now? Is it still catching up? Is there still a long way to go?
It's interesting, this genesis of the word capacity, and everybody's talking about, is there too much, is there not enough? And for me, in terms of capable capacity, there's really not enough. But I will say you do need to differentiate all the aspects of cell and gene therapy manufacturing, because you have plasmid processing and development, you have viral vector manufacturing, you have cell therapy, now there's mRNA, oligonucleotides, ADCs, there's all these new modalities that are coming to the table. And in the case of viral vector, I do think that it is a bit saturated in terms of just raw physical capacity. However, I think that you still need this advanced capability, and what CBM has been really great at is developing processes that can be complex and are repeatable, robust for GMP. And so partnering with a CDMO that has great process development, and by the way, analytical development, a lot of these therapies are getting hiccuped at the final mile with regard to potency assays and the like. So having those analytical methods and those repeatable manufacturing processes early in a development of a drug is incredibly important, and partnering with those that know how to do that is important. And then on the cell therapy side, there just isn't enough capacity in terms of commercial manufacturing capacity. And I know that there's a lot of differentiated opinions on that out there, but I can tell you, being on the front lines and the throughput that we're seeing and the amount of demand, it's just not there. So there was a lot of investment in vector, but not that much in cell therapy. So we're lucky to have that cell therapy capacity where it's few and far between.
And presumably you could be doing a lot of different things, working in a lot of different sectors. Why did you choose cell and gene therapy?
That's a good question. I mean, for me personally, I have a daughter that was born with what's called a cholesteatoma, which is a benign tumor, but a slow-growing tumor. She was treated through 3 or 4 different surgeries at CHOP. I really became familiar with when you're in that waiting room and you see, even before that, when you watch your child get wheeled off in a surgery bed and you're sitting in that waiting room with all the other parents, and our treatment was, a relatively minor thing, but there are children there that are getting treated for serious disease. And I just realized how important it is to be connected to the research community, to be developing new therapies in a way that is efficient from a capital perspective, as well as from a resource perspective. And I saw there was a new and better way of doing that, just through that relationship with my child and through the relationship with CHOP and our partnership with Deerfield and SK Farmteco. We are on the front lines with drug developers, understanding the trials and tribulations that they're going with, not just doing internal manufacturing, but partnering with CDMOs. So being that CDMO that has a patient-first philosophy, that understands the journey that a patient and their family goes through, and working with the pharma and biotechs to help them have that best patient experience is really what and why I started CBM.
Audrey, I understand that there was recently a majority acquisition of CBM. Can you talk a little bit more about what that means for the organization going forward?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So SK Farmteco, which is the holding company of SK, the second largest holding company in South Korea, about 200 billion in AUM. They invested in SK Farmteco. And they now have majority of CBM, which is great for us. And what that means is certainly capital, which is important in today's environment, but it also means global depth and breadth of offering, as well as an increased capability offering. So we now have small molecule, we have ADCs, oligos, we have all of the cell and gene therapy components we've always had, from plasmid to viral vector to cell therapy to all the wraparound testing and analytics. But we now also have a global redundancy of supply chain built into our relationship. So with our partnership with SK Farmteco and Ipescacy, which is a French-based viral vector manufacturing, you can contract with SK Farmteco and have that built-in global redundancy of vector capacity.
Great. Well, congratulations on that. It's hard
you.
to do deals in this environment, so that's great news.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for being a guest on ARM Studios.
Yeah, thanks for having me.